Hey folks, welcome back. It is September 30th, and there is a planned strike for the port workers starting tonight at midnight. The group striking is the International Longshoremen's Association, and they state that they have not been fairly compensated for their efforts. And what's at stake is potentially $3 to $5 billion worth of commerce daily. Roughly 50% of all of our imports come in on the East Coast, and we're talking about not just New York to Florida, we're talking New York all the way to Texas, the entire loop, everything but the Pacific side. Roughly 30% of our chicken, 40% of our pork, and something like 60% of our beef come in through the East Coast ports, as well as raw goods and massive amounts of heavy equipment and the parts that go with it. Now, the heavy equipment part might not bother most of us, but for our neighbors over in Tennessee and North Carolina who are dealing with the remnants of a hurricane and flash flooding, heavy equipment's going to be vital, let alone losing $3 to $5 billion a day in commerce. This might be a giant smokescreen. We are in a political environment right now. It is election season. And the government, namely the president, does have the authority to command them not to strike. However, the White House came out today and said they're not going to do that. Both parties involved need to get together and work it out. It's quite possible that all of this is happening to give a certain presidential candidate the opportunity to step in and do something. These are often called October surprises. So if Vice President Kamala Harris comes out in the next week or two, if the strike is going on, and says everybody needs to go back to the table and we're not going to allow this anymore and the strike ends, she looks like a hero. And the vast majority of unions tend to lean toward voting Democrat. This is not a pro-Trump video. This is just something to look out for. We don't panic. We pray, we plan, and we prepare. However, it might not be a political stunt, and this strike might go on for quite a while. And from some of the research I'm doing, every roughly 10% increase in delays, prices go up by 5%. So if we start losing meat shipments and they have to start flying them in via air, prices on pork, chicken, and beef are going to skyrocket. I don't like alarmist videos, but I feel like if I know something and I don't use the platform that I have to tell people about it, then I'm just not doing my job. So I don't want you to panic. I don't necessarily want you to run out to the grocery store and buy everything you possibly can. But this is why roughly 3 months ago we released a video about having enough supplies for 3 to 6 months. I doubt this will go on a very long time. I really don't think they will let that happen, especially with Christmas around the corner. A lot of the stuff I'm reading says this is going to negatively impact the mass influx of shipping that we get just before Christmas. And we spend a boatload of money as a nation on Black Friday and Christmas. So I think the economic outcry would happen long before this gets serious. However, there's no telling, because we are in an election season. And if one candidate doesn't win, other people might stay striking for their own political reasons. There's no way to truly know. The world's been kind of upside down and crazy, but we have seen supply chain issue problems here in the recent past. So if I were you and I was going to the grocery store today, I would stock up. I already have. I purchased some extra things. I did not clear out shelves. I did not take a huge amount. I just took a few more extra than I normally would. And if there's some next week, I will take a few more extra. I am in a very fortunate position. We have been planning for things like this for quite a while, and we do have food. So we might be using rags instead of toilet paper. If that happens again, who knows? But it's something to keep your eye on. So if you are out shopping, get a little bit extra, put a little away. Think about your neighbors, think about your family. If none of this comes to fruition, this is a super good time to take it as a warning and to get stocked up. Slowly over time. You don't have to do it all at once. Little bit at a time. Each time you go to the grocery store, spend an extra $50, $60, and start stocking some stuff away until you get 3 or 4 months worth. Because all this will eventually blow over. Everything will go back to normal. Things might just be uncomfortable for a while. I don't think we're going to have starving in the streets or stampedes to the grocery store necessarily. But things could get uncomfortable for a while. So don't panic, pray, plan, prepare. My name is Brian. This is Flannel Farms. God be with you.